Joining us now to weigh in on this very public brawl, Democratic strategist David Carlucci. David, thank you so much for your time here. So there are these accusations that the DNC broke its own rules on gender diversity, potentially invalidating the election of Hogg as one of these 5 vice chairs. What do you make of this finding by a committee? And is this all in response to the waves that, Hogg is arguably making within the party?
Well, I think absolutely. The issue here is that if we had a supermajority in the Congress, then we would all welcome this energy that David Hogg is bringing. But that $20 million, it's just so frustrating to hear that you're going to spend that on purifying the party instead of expanding the party. And this is a long-held tradition of the DNC, is to focus on how do we strengthen the party? How do we make it bigger and better instead of trying to go after and primary members of Congress? We're the party of the big tent. We should be looking to expand the tent, not shrink it. And that will lead to devastating results if we do focus on this purification, narrowing the tent. That's a problem. We're not going to win the majority back by narrowing the scope of our party.
Yeah, and David, Hogg essentially is saying that, business as usual is just not working for the party, which is, evident in the major election loss in November. We know that he is, promising to primary out older Democrats in these safe blue districts. I'd like to listen to a little of what he said during a recent appearance on Bill Maher.
There have been a few members that have come out that have said, well, if I retire, my life is effectively over. And what I would say is get over yourself. This isn't about you. This is about our country, and it's about your constituents. Nobody is I don't care if you've been there for decades or just one term. That seat is not yours. It is your constituents. That is who you're there to serve. And if they choose to serve somebody else, so be it. That's all we're trying to do with Leaders We Deserve is give people the option to vote for somebody that isn't necessarily the same person that's been there forever.
All right, so that was just a clip there, David, but, we didn't hear any pushback. But is this the DNC's way of saying that Hogg is out of line?
I think so. I think it's right in line with what the DNC is trying to do, is trying to expand the party. And this idea, although it might be true for some members, that it is their life, members of Congress, but that doesn't change the story. The story is the role of the DNC, and if you're going to be on the board of the DNC, be in its executive leadership, then you need to be focused on expanding the party, not shrinking it. And I think that's one of the fundamental problems we have with the Democratic Party right now. We continually try to narrow the focus, and we have this all or nothing mentality. There used to be a time, even though it's not in my ideology, but to have pro-life Democrats, have pro-Second Amendment Democrats. But we've narrowed the tent and said there's no room for you. Well, that means there's no room for Democrats in parts of this country, and that's a problem. We need to be looking at other nations where they have a multi-party system. And they've said, look, we got to form coalitions in order to be the party of the governing. And that's not how we think of it as Democrats, but we should. We should be talking about how do we expand the ranks. And all this is about is that a fight to narrow the focus, to shrink the party, to purify the party. And that might excite some of the progressives and some people on the far left. But it's not the way to win elections. We've seen it time and time again. And I wouldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater for the Democratic Party. Look, many times you win by one vote, you're a genius. You lose by one vote, you're an idiot. But I think there's lessons to gain from winning and losing. We should take them both if we're going to gain the majority in the House.
And just really quickly, David, I mean, we saw as you were speaking there a graphic, the average age of Washington lawmakers, 64 in the Senate, 57 years old in the House. If there is this chaos within the Democratic National Committee, which is one arm, what does it say about the state of the party as a whole?
Well, I think there's a lot of energy right now in the Democratic Party. I think there's people that are frustrated. We have a lot of new time people that are just engaging in politics because they're fed up and they're scared. And now that we don't have President Biden to pick on, to blame, people are recognizing that, look, the Democrats can do a better job, but we've got to put that energy to good use. And that's why I compliment David Hogg for his energy, for the ability that he can raise that $20 million. But unfortunately, now we're just using it as friendly fire. We should be focused on beating Republicans, not focused on our own Democrats.
Well, Democratic strategist David Carlucci, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Great to be with you. Thanks.